Hi, y'all. I am back and I am going to try to maybe record a little bit more. I had a lot of fun with the last one, and maybe also try to react to some new people along the way. We'll see. I mean, Linda's my favorite, but it was sort of fun to react to Jerry Sargent because I really hate him. Um, we'll see. But here, this time, I am looking at Melissa Feick, who I saw at Conscious Life Expo, and she's like a channeler of the Akashic Records, which, if you don't know, there's some. I don't know if this is a physical place or an alternate dimension or just a spiritual place or what, but there's somewhere out in the universe where all of the knowledge from everything that's ever happened or ever will happen is, and somehow you can access it. And I guess, like, use it to learn how to, like, succeed in your MLM, because that seems to be the kind of stuff these people use profound alien wisdom for. So I don't know what she's going to be like in this video, but in person, I actually really liked her, and she was very sort of no nonsense. She had like she was very charismatic, and she knew how to make jokes and stuff, and she had like a strong following. Like, the room that we were in that she was giving this channeling experience in was packed. I was sitting on the floor to like even be in there. Her channeling itself is really funny to me. She does she goes into it real intense, and she does like a funny voice. So I liked that. But I'm not sure what she's going to be in this. So this is, I think, supposed to be talking to us about the levels to the Akashic Records. So I guess there are some Akashic Records that are easier to access and some that are harder to access. And you need to access the higher ones to know about your galactic past lives, is what it says. So we'll see what she's like and if this is fun or funny or whatever. But, we'll see. All right, let's hit play.
In this video podcast, I'm going to talk about the levels of the Akashic Records and what each level holds, and why it's best for you to work in the higher levels of the Akashic Records, including the quantum field.
Okay.
Make sure you stay to the end to really understand what it means to connect to the Akashic Records on the quantum field.
On
now,
the quantum field.
If you don't know what the Akashic Records are,
what's the quantum field?
They're the records that hold the infinite information.
Okay, so she's already explaining it.
Not just our planet or lifetimes on this planet, but also everything that's ever happened on the planetary experience and our galactic heritage. So it holds massive amounts of...
I think our galactic heritage is implying that we are aliens, or like all of us are like alien souls or something like that.
Information. This is the quantum computer 10 times, 1,000 times more powerful than what we can even imagine. Because we're not just holding the information of the Akashic understanding of just this experience, but also other timelines, other planetary systems, what's happening on the galactic level, and so much more.
I mean, everything. Like, why isn't she just saying everything? Because my understanding is it's everything that ever was, ever could be, ever will be, blah, 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 blah. Like, she's naming things. She should just say everything.
It's a vast, vast experience. But what most people don't understand is that not just dimensionally do we have information stored, but we also have these on planes of existence. Each plane of existence holds a different frequency of information. And the Akashic Records that
I don't think that's how frequencies work.
In each plane hold different information. So you and I would probably agree we live in a physical experience here.
Yeah. So, I mean, frequencies, is it like tuning your radio or something? Because I guess that is different frequencies. That actually is how that works. I don't know.
Called the physical plane. In the physical plane, you have a lot of duality, right, wrong, up, down, good, bad. You know what I mean? Because in the planes of existence, the physical realm is the densest frequency. And because it's so dense, that's why
it's a dense frequency. So solid. Can frequencies be dense? Like, is that a thing that frequencies can be? I guess frequencies are, it's like the waves of sound or whatever, how big they are. Maybe if they're really close together, they're dense. I don't know enough about this.
Once you hit the higher planes of existence, it's less dense energy. Okay. So on the physical plane, we are looking at duality. But when we're looking at duality, there are dimensions within the physical plane. And these dimensions not only hold the physical things that we see, feel, hear, and smell, but within the dimensions of the physical plane, there are other energies that are directly influenced by the frequency of the physical plane. And they are like the fairy realm, unicorns.
Yay. Yay. Okay, I was sitting here literally listening to this and being like, man, this is kind of boring. I don't know if I want to use this video because, I don't know, Melissa, you're not speaking to me. But then she mentioned the fairy realm. So let's hope we keep going in this direction.
Mineral kingdom. All of
the mineral kingdom
connected, and there's a frequency to them. Each plane of existence that we're going to talk about today, there are different frequencies. So it's not like one plane is better than the other. It's all that they're just living at a different energy level, a different frequency, a different vibration. And as we move through these planes consciously, when we use our consciousness and travel interdimensionally, we're traveling
think about things,
planes of existence,
imagine
through
things.
The dimensions. And because of that, we are directly influenced by all the other planes and dimensions that sit within the human realm and the human experience.
Okay.
So right above or right around the physical plane is actually the emotional plane.
The emotional
plane also holds a lot of duality. This is where the archetypes sit, like the queen or the sage. Those are the
tarot
archetypes.
Cards?
And in the emotional
the tarot
plane,
cards are in the emotional
there's
plane.
still a lot of duality and a lot of illusion. And that is dimensionally this frequency of maybe the fourth dimension people would talk about. And what happens is the physical plane and the emotional plane are very interconnected and entwined.
Is this diagram supposed to be telling us something? She's talking about the emotional plane. What is this? This is like a person, maybe, sitting in lotus pose with the rainbow lights for the different chakras, I assume. But where's the emotional plane in here? I don't see it.
Because when you are incarnating on the physical plane as a physical being,
what did that have to do with the emotional realm?
When you are incarnating here, you're incarnating to master the mental, physical, and emotional bodies.
These
emotional body and mental body and the physical body of the self. And those correspond directly to these planes of existence. So the emotional body is so important for humans because it really is our connection to creation.
These clips that she's sprinkling in feel so random. I guess the guy climbing is supposed to be our struggle to master the whatever realms, but I don't know, Melissa. I think you might have been better off without this because it's not actually representative of what you're talking about.
And when we are experiencing creation energy, we are experiencing
creation energy
in the physical realm, right? So you see it. You see the car, you see the house, you see the pen, you feel it, you know what it is. When you are experiencing emotions, you can't see it, you can't touch an emotion. You will sense it and feel it, but you can't touch it.
Because it's happening in your brain.
When you have thought forms, you don't even know what those thought forms are. You can't see them, you don't know where they're coming.
Wait, what are thought forms? They're Okay, I know what thoughts are. I know what both kinds of thoughts are. But what are thought forms?
You don't even know if they're your own thought forms.
What?
That's the mental plane. All these
I feel like you
planes
should
are
be worried
interacting
if that
with
happens.
us. And they are interacting with our bodies, our mental body, our emotional body, our physical body. So when we are working on the different planes of existence in the Akashic, that's where we're transcending all these lower energies and transcending those karmic patterns that are keeping us stuck in the wheel of karma and in the human form. We're here to transcend those energies so that...
I don't know a lot about classical Hindu theology, but I just feel like the use of karma here is most likely wrong. That's what I would guess.
Can ascend to the next level of our own awakening and be in a physical form and create in amazing ways. So we've talked about the physical plane and the emotional plane. So now we're going to talk about the mental plane. There are levels to the planes, but let's just go over an overview of the mental plane. So the mental plane is the mental capacity of creation. Everything that happens that is created in the earth plane has to come first from the mental plane. It actually starts in the quantum and then moves into the mental plane.
Okay. So what I just heard is she's saying everything physical in our plane, like the one that we're as humans living in right now, comes from the mental plane, but it first comes from the quantum, which I don't know what she means by that, and then it goes into the mental plane, and then somehow it comes here and becomes like, I don't know, a chair or a dog or something. Sure.
Every time you put thoughts out into the universe, these thoughts then bring that energy back to you. And when it's driven by emotion, it's more powerful. And this is how I've seen thought forms in the mental plane and your own mental body. When you have a thought form of, oh my gosh, I have to go do my laundry, that
Okay, so thought forms are just thoughts, because like I have to go do my laundry is just like an ordinary thought that you might have. So I'm just going to assume that that's how that works.
Rolls out and puffs out like a puff of smoke. So it's very short-lived. It doesn't have a lot of gumption or energy behind it. But if you have a very emotional mental thought of, oh my gosh, I can't believe those people said that about me. What are they doing? My job sucks. Everything's horrible. And you have a lot of emotion driving.
She just like looked up like lady looking disappointed, shaking her head. Clip. Let's just put this in here. I don't know. I don't think I need this illustration. But yes, when we are feeling emotional, our thoughts feel more significant than when they're just about like some random chore we need to do. Yes, that is true. I don't know what that has to do with these different realms, but whatever.
That energy, that thought form actually moves into your energy field and starts to expand and move through your energy field, and it starts to gain momentum the more emotion
lady
you
looks
put
so distraught
forward through that, and then it bursts out and it expands out into the universe and then expands into the other fields and the dimensions. And guess what happens? That's the energy that's so strong and powerful. That's your energy of creation. And I've literally seen people do.
Okay, so if I am emotional about something bad that happens at work, that thought form explodes out of me and goes into the universe and becomes the power of creation somehow. That's what I got out of this.
And then they wonder why they lost their job or why this awful thing happened to them.
Oh man, no. Okay, this is the secret. She's doing the secret. She's saying like if you have bad thoughts about stuff, then bad stuff's gonna happen to you. Okay.
It's your fault. But what I'm saying is it is reverberating out into the universe, and then the universe is just responding back.
So it is your fault.
It's just doing its job.
So it's your fault for having bad thoughts.
the universe responds back. It's a symbiotic relationship. So as you put thought forms out, the more emotion that's driving those thoughts, the more that comes into your existence.
Okay, Melissa, I hate this. I hate this because you're doing this thing and you're just being like, bad things happen to you, it's because you like put too many negative thought forms out into the universe. I mean, we've all heard some version of this, but I guess hers is thought forms are going out into the universe and doing something out there with the quantum or whatever. But I don't like this, Melissa. I thought I liked you more than this, but I don't like you right now.
Into your realization, into your physical realm, into your reality. And you can do as many affirmations as you want, and you can make your heart like be open heart and try to strong arm everything through control. But your subconscious programming will still create these mental and emotional energies that will shift out into the quantum field.
Okay, so like you can't even fix this by thinking better thoughts. It's just going to happen to you anyway. All right, I'm sure she has a solution for us.
To then come back and create into the universe and into your own reality. So the mental plane is really important because this is where we start hitting the Akashic Records. In the lower vibrational energy of the mental plane of existence, that is where the Akashic Records of the human realm sit. So anything that has happened on the earth, any timelines that have been happening on the earth, any possible timelines as well, all sit.
Okay, this is a really random thought, but like, does this mean that, so if the Earth's Akashic Records are like closer to us than the galactic Akashic Records, which are farther away or something, does that mean that like the Arcturians' Akashic Records are closer to them and they also need to like transcend their physical realm to do real galactic Akashic record work or something? Does it apply to the aliens too or just to us? Because I feel like a lot of the time it applies just to us because like somehow we're so terrible and we suck so much.
On the lower mental plane of existence. And this is because it's directly related to you, to everything you've ever experienced. So when people are reading your past lives, they're reading it from the lower mental plane of existence, meaning that it's
Take
the
that,
direct
past life readers.
reflection of right there, right at the human level.
Yeah,
And
that
that's
sucky
all
human
those
level.
records can read. And they won't be able to read anything beyond that. Many years ago, I went to an Akashic Records reader that everybody told me was amazing. And I asked her about my galactic heritage. And I thought she was going to have a cow because she was just like so physically distraught by my question.
She was physically distraught.
I realized like she had it with me. She was done because the records that she reads only holds the records of the earthly experience.
So like Melissa is a special girl and she knows how to access the real good Akashic records, not the like crappy discount Akashic records that like other people get to. Like though she knows how to get to the good stuff, like the high end Akashic records that all of the aliens get to use or something. All right.
But I knew I had many other experiences and I knew some of those lifetimes. I was just asking for more information because that's what I was interested in. But she couldn't read those because she's reading on the lower mental plane of records.
Just on the lower mental
you're
plane.
Connecting to the lower mental plane of existence, the Akashic Records, or just the lower plane, you're still connecting with a lot of thought forms that accumulate from the human experience. So let's talk about the energy of lack. What happens is you start connecting to the energy of lack. So all the lower frequencies of lack or not
things?
Enough
okay.
sit on the mental plane and you interact with it all the time. And those thought forms accumulate and keep on accumulating. And
This
if you
lady
want to
also looks
learn
upset.
more about that, you can watch my video right here.
How fear accumulates and controls you.
When you get to the higher vibration of the mental plane of existence, you're looking at a less form-based experience, less illusion. There's no form, no illusion, no particles. It's all waves, all energy waves.
What? There's no illusions like there are in the mental planes or whatever we're talking about that's close to Earth. There are no particles? What does that mean? Like, were there particles in the first place? Okay.
And in that level of the Akashic, you actually have the connection to your galactic heritage.
Okay.
Meaning any places that you've incarnated that are not this planetary experience. Mm-hmm. Now, some of you may not be aware that you actually have a galactic heritage. There are many beings who incarnate on the Earth who are newer souls, and they don't have a very vast galactic experience.
Okay.
But most light workers, starseeds, they definitely have.
You listening to this, you have an extensive galactic heritage. I know it, and I will help you find it because you were a light worker and a star seed, unlike these other like normies that you meet every day on the street. Sorry, that's just my extrapolation here.
That experience living on other planetary systems. But when you're reading the lower records, you won't be able to see those galactic heritages. It's not until you reach the higher level of the mental plane do you hit those experiences in those lifetimes on other planets. Now, I just want to go over this again really quickly.
Okay.
We are here to transcend the lower frequencies. Many of us are also here to actually help the ascension, to really bring in a higher frequency. But the thing is...
Oh, yeah, this was something she talked a lot about at the talk that I went to of hers at Conscious Life Expo, is that, like, so she was channeling aliens that time. I think the Akashic Records is something different she also does. But the aliens were basically like, we're trying to help you ascend or, like, become better than you are because, you know, like, we're, like, lowly humans in, like, gross meat suits or something. Yeah, anyway, I'm not sure exactly what it means to ascend, but maybe, like, we lose our physical bodies or something like that, or we just become better somehow.
No matter where you've come from, no matter what planetary system, no matter what your frequency was, you're still in a human form. So because you're still in a human form, you hold lower frequencies no matter what, unless you've come as a complete avatar. And that is highly unusual. Even the new starseeds that are coming in, they still have to hold some human DNA within their system.
Okay.
Which is perfectly fine.
Probably.
Because we're just starting the ascension. We're just at the precipice of expansion. So many of us had to come here and really lower our frequency. And that's okay. Yeah. If you are hoping wishing and wanting to be in your star system and you're denying the human self, you're going to have a harder time. When you start loving and experiencing and allowing the human self to come forward, that means that you're able to transcend those lower frequencies faster so that you can live more in your higher vibration of oneness and love.
I'm coming back around a little bit because, like, I like that she's saying that you have to accept your human self. You know, it really makes me uncomfortable when these people are like, oh, you gotta leave these stupid humannesses behind, because I just don't like what that, I don't know, implies. But yeah, I like you know, the idea that you have to accept yourself as you are, as like a, you know, flawed human, which we all are, to reach this kind of special spiritual ascension or whatever. I think that's good. I like that part.
That's who you truly are and what you've known for so long. So let's talk about the quantum field.
The quantum field.
I like to bring
The quantum field.
To the Akashic Records on the quantum field. And the reason is because when you get to the quantum field, it is a vast experience. When you move into the records of the quantum, those records hold very precise information about the patternings of...
Okay, like, my understanding of the word quantum is it's usually used with regard to things happening on, like, the sort of subatomic level, or I think, yeah, right? Isn't that right? Gosh, I feel like I've been listening to these people for so long now, I don't know what quantum means. But anyway, she doesn't know either because she's not telling us. Probably. I guess we'll find out.
All the lower planes of existence to help you transcend the physical plane, the emotional plane, and the mental plane faster. So I want to just back up a hair. Part of the reason that I talk about the Akashic Records,
because she did not explain the quantum field,
is because I got a full download that if we keep trying to transcend lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, we'll be here for way too long. It's time for us to quantum leap or time jump all those lower frequencies so that we can live more in a balanced state within and still be in a human form.
What does
because
this mean?
Most people can't do that. They can't master their mental and emotional bodies because they're stuck in all the muck and lower frequencies that get stuck in their lower...
Is that like mental illness?
Chakras. I see it all the time. I see the density that people hold from their first, second, third chakras, which is directly related to the emotional and mental bodies. And a lot of people try to transcend by jumping out of the lower energies and only working on their higher consciousness. And then they wonder why they've hit this brick wall or why they feel depressed or have high anxiety. It's because they haven't dealt with the humanness. And you're human, and that's part of
Okay, I'm coming back around, but I do feel like this is something. So, like, you know, there's someone like Linda who's, like, trying to talk about abductions and figure out what the aliens are doing and, like, why are they coming here and things like that. And then there are these people who are, like, channelers, like Melissa. And to me, it sort of seems almost like they're, like, unlicensed therapists who are using this weird alien, Akashic Records, whatever framing to maybe get you to do things that you would do if you, like, went to therapy, like went to normal therapy, like, you know, accept yourself and, you know, deal with past, you know, emotional wounds or whatever. Like, that seems to me what she's talking about. And that's, I mean, I kind of, but, like, she's not a licensed therapist. And I kind of feel like if you're feeling stuck in your humanness or whatever, like, maybe go to a licensed therapist instead of Melissa. But I do feel like I don't dislike her message necessarily. Like, I'm remembering why I felt like I liked her. And I think it was because of, like, this message of, like, you know, you can't neglect your human side. Like, you have to deal with that stuff. You have to deal with all the things that are maybe uncomfortable about life before you can become, I mean, I guess in her case ascended, but, like, happier or whatever. So I do like that. And, like, there's other people like this. Like, there's this other guy, Tony Ghazi, who's, like, probably my favorite person I've ever come across in this world. Like, I love him. He channels the what are they? The praying mantises. He channels the praying mantis aliens. But the praying mantis aliens seem awesome from, like, the way he portrays them, and, like, everything he says I just, like, love, and I love him, and it's sort of a similar idea of, like, accepting yourself and this and that. But also, please go to therapy.
Experience here. We can hope to jump and quantum leap past the human, but if you don't work on the human, you can't do that. And I know that sucks. I get that, and I experienced that myself. But I want to take you to the quantum field into the Akashic records that are there. When you hit the Akashic in the quantum,
this is starting to sound
you
sexy.
have more availability to transcend all those lower frequencies really fast. You're able to transcend the whole pattern of abuse that's fully activated.
Oof, okay, ouch, I don't like it. Melissa, you are not qualified to help people deal with past abuse and trauma in their life. You're just not. They should go to someone who knows what they're doing.
You have more availability to transcend the victim patterning that is in the human experience. You can do that faster in the quantum, in the Akashic.
I don't even know what the quantum is.
Than you
what is
can when
you have not told me.
Trying to muck through and push the energy out. You are a fully expansive being. And the thing is that you've taken this huge, vast consciousness and like squeezed it into this tiny little being. And you're living here trying to transcend it and trying to force the energy out. What I want you to understand.
I think one other thing this makes me think of is sort of like also like, I mean, I get what she's saying, like you have to deal with your personal human emotions and things that have happened to you and other hang-ups you might have. But also, like, I think the other thing that's sometimes troubling to me about the new agey people is that they are so interested in transcending that it seems to me sometimes like they like do not want to be involved in the real work of the world that we live in, like political work or doing like actual, humanitarian work of some kind, or, anything that's like too earthly, that they just want to somehow get to a place where they're like above all of this and like, I'm ascending, I'm going into outer space, I'm an alien starseed, and all of this is just temporary and whatever. But like, that's your life, first of all. That's your life. I don't personally believe that you are getting, some other time as a starseed on some other planet. I think this is what you have. I think you should use it well, and maybe also think about, take care of yourself, but participate in, I don't know, civic life, help other people, something. Anyway, that was just a random thought that I had.
And yes, I'm talking about all these planes of existence. But remember, these planes of existence are always melding together. It's not like this plane ends and this plane starts. It's a merging of energy.
Okay.
And there's no delineation. And I see it kind of like a spiral. And that's how the universe is created, through a spiral energy. And that's the expansiveness. They've proven that.
Is that just because we're in a spiral galaxy?
Universes are always expanding. And I always see that in that spiral form, because that's how we exist. It's not one plane and then another plane, then another plane. It's that we're existing in this spiral energy, and we're expanding. So we expand and move and expand and move.
So we're like a spring.
Expand and move. As souls, we are always expanding. The thing is, in the human realm, we hold back. We're trying to control. We're trying to make things happen. We're forcing our mental capacity in a very lack energy, or anger, or hurt,
lack
or
energy.
pain.
It's a weird term.
And all of that holds us hostage in the lower planes of existence. You can absolutely hold higher vibrations and become the energy of the quantum when you are more expansive.
Like, can she keeps saying quantum, but I don't know what she means. I don't know what that is to her. It sounds like it's like the ultimate level of the Akashic Records, and she's just using quantum as like best, highest, most complex. I don't know. But like, what does quantum mean to you? Because you keep saying quantum, and I don't know what it means.
Through those lower frequencies that hold you in dense energies. And what this all means, when you look at the fullest picture of this, means that everything that you put out there is creating your reality every moment.
Or The
I
Secret, which I don't
recently
like.
met someone who was talking a lot about all the physical things that happen and all the physical problems, and really creating more of that energy for themselves. And
So if you talk about how your knee hurts, your
it's
knee's going to
because
keep
they're putting
hurting? I don't know.
energy into it. Now, I don't believe that you have to be Pollyanna or not deal with all the bad things that are happening in your world. What I really would love to encourage everybody is to just start to transcend. What I'd love to encourage you to do is to transcend those lower frequencies. Because when you start transcending all those lower energies and traumas, mostly that sit in those lower chakras, when you start to transcend them in the quantum fields in the Akashic Records, then you have more expansive experiences. You feel more oneness, more peace, more love.
What does she mean by transcend, though? Like, I really don't know what she means by transcend either. Like, does that mean that, like, all of those things are beneath you and you... She keeps saying you need to deal with, like, your human stuff, but then she's also like, you need to transcend it, which to me means you, like, don't deal with it, you, like, leave it behind. And I think that's bad. We should deal with the stuff in the world that's immediately in front of us, but...
And you don't even think twice about anything. When something happens, you're like, oh yeah, that happened. Doesn't make it good or bad. You're like, okay, this experience is going on. And I am sitting in my heart and seeing the bigger picture. Because I'm going up to the quantum in the Akashic and looking at what is really transpiring. Oh, this is happening for me to see my fullness of love and how to bring love to this experience.
What?
It's a whole new experience. It's a game changer. It's a complete
I
game
don't know
changer.
what she's talking about.
You start to see beyond the drama and the pain
No
and
drama.
sorrow.
Melissa's
and
no drama.
Seeing how everything is interacting in a divine way. It's a divine plan. The thing is that nothing
God
is
involved?
wrong. It only looks wrong because we live in duality, right, wrong, good, bad. But in reality, everything is created from oneness.
Okay.
Now, once you hit a certain experience, you start to meld into the awareness that not everything that's bad is really bad. It's hard to explain because most people hate that part. When I try to explain to them that that bad thing that happened was for you to help you see your transcendence, to help you see your power or your strength or your love, then they're like, wow, okay, maybe I get it now. And we don't have to hold on to your lower frequencies because that is why you're mastering those planes of existence. You want to master the planes of existence to be ascended. Guess what? The ascended masters, they have mastered the mental and emotional and physical planes. That's why they're called ascended. And you also are mastering that. Even if you are already ascended before you incarnated here, you still have to master those planes again because you chose the human form. So when you're reading the...
Okay, this actually reminds me a little bit of this book that a friend recommended to me. It's called Existential Kink. It's a really interesting book. I don't know if I buy into the whole thing, but basically the idea is that, like, if you're experiencing things in your life that feel negative, it's like because somehow you're like, I don't know, your soul or just like your emotional side or your subconscious, like, wants the full range of experiences of life, even negative things. I feel like I'm not conveying that idea very well, but I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. Read that book, maybe not.
Records on the quantum field. You have availability for you to see all the records below that, meaning you can see all the galactic heritage, how the cosmos were created, where the planetary systems are, all the beings that live on those planetary systems. You also see past lives. You also see lives between lives. That's fascinating when you start to read somebody's records and you're like, you see.
Also, I'm like noticing, because like I'm looking at the window where the actual YouTube video is playing, but I'm kind of noticing that maybe the screen up here is out of sync. So I'm sorry, I don't know how to fix that, and I'm sorry if it's annoying. That's what I'm going to say.
Why they chose that family or why they chose that experience. You see that because you see them choosing it when they're like deciding who to incarnate as and who their physical family is going to be on the earth plane and who they were on other planetary systems. It's really fascinating. We're here to transcend the lower frequencies so that we can raise the vibration of the planet and help us ascend past those lower planes. And the more of us that do that, the more availability those energies become to the whole planetary system.
Okay, so we can raise other people up.
Many of you who are watching this are starseeds, are light workers, are spiritual, expansive beings who know this in your heart. You know that you've come here to expand and to transcend those lower frequencies. But then you got caught up in the pain or the abuse or the sorrow or the traumas that we experience in this life. When you start to connect the Akashic Records on the quantum field, you're transcending so many frequencies and energies. You live more from a state of higher consciousness because you're becoming a frequency of creation, of manifestation.
This is like pure word salad to me.
And you're anchoring in more of your own higher consciousness. And you're becoming less of your lower consciousness, which is all those human form and energies. Now, it doesn't mean the human form is bad. It just means that you're becoming more of a higher frequency. That means you're activating your light body and you're expanding your experience. I'd love to share with you how to get to the Akashic Records on the quantum field. I actually have a meditation.
Except I can't explain what the quantum field is.
Called A Radical Approach to the Akashic Records.
Well, here's
Master
the book.
Your life and raise your vibration. And if you want to receive that book, just go to melissafeick.com/AR. Akashic Records.
I hope it explains what the quantum field is.
If you want to learn more about the Akashic Records and karma, watch this video here.
Karma, Akashic Records. Maybe we'll do that sometime. All right, Melissa. That was something. I don't know. I feel like it's so much harder to react to the people who are channelers because there's just like this language that they use and it's all very wishy-washy. They don't really explain things. And like I was saying earlier, it's all basically like almost just like a substitute for actual therapy instead of making like real solid claims about anything, right? You know, you keep saying quantum this, quantum that, quantum field, whatever, quantum Akashic Records, but I don't know what that means, right? I assume the purpose of this video, she explained what Akashic Records in general are. So she's expecting an audience that doesn't know what Akashic Records are because she took the time to explain that term. But then she's constantly saying like quantum field Akashic Records or quantum Akashic Records, and she's not telling us what that means. It's just like almost just like the word quantum is just supposed to have some kind of mystical spiritual connotation of like those are the super special Akashic Records, and that seems to be all that it really means, like unless she wants to tell us something else. Like I'm assuming that quantum is just another word for like super special best Akashic Records ever or something. So anyway, that was Melissa Feick. I mean, I kind of hope you can see, like, there are some moments with her that I'm like, okay, like, I think some of this is actually a good counter narrative to some of the other stuff you hear from these kinds of people, but it's still problematic. She's still basically claiming that, like, that using her to access the Akashic Records can somehow fix problems and trauma and lots of psychological stuff in your life, and I don't think that's a good idea. So yeah, that was trying out reacting to Melissa, and I don't know if I'll do it again. She doesn't have a lot of these kind of videos on her channel anyway, at least at the current moment. But I thought it might be fun to try someone else, and so yeah, we'll see what appeals next. Bye bye.